What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, CamATL, and welcome back to another NFL video with your boy. Drop a like down below because I already know you're gonna love it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you comment anything in the comment section to enter your name into the $100 giveaway I do every week on this channel. Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. We got Thursday night football tonight, the beginning of week 5. And it's a game with some injuries in it where it's going to open up some sexiness. I like when there's injuries, and no offense to the player that's actually injured. I hope you get better and all that, but I like guys when they're out because it opens up some value, makes things a little interesting. Now, I've been buckling down on this game since the beginning of the week. And I feel like I've got a good grasp of it. We're going to talk about different ways that you could go on this one. Greenlightdfs.com to join the squad for it, and I'll be posting that about 30 minutes before the slate, maybe an hour, depending on how quickly it comes together. But I'm really liking the versions that I have, and I'm really excited for it. So I'm not going to keep up too much of your time. You guys know me. I like to get in, get out, get y'all with the juice, get you well hydrated, and sent on your way. All right, so here we go. First and foremost, let's think about game script. Let's think about how this game we're expecting this game to go, and that's how you guys know how I like to look at it. So, Denver, not very good. Colts, definitely not very good with no Taylor. Denver, like already wasn't very good, and then you take away Javonte Williams, so it's just kind of honestly. Um, Remember last game where I talked about how there was a possibility that it was just a defensive showdown, right? Now I don't see this as a defensive showdown by chance, but I do think that the Denver defense is interesting because I think that Matt Ryan's already having a little bit of a trouble. You know what I mean? Like he already can't really air the ball downfield too much. Defenses are coming up, so kind of taking away the short routes and it's kind of making it rough on him. Um, Especially with a defense like Denver's, Patrick Surtain has done a fantastic job at shadowing guys this year. So Surtain's going to shadow Michael Pittman. And with that being said, that definitely downgrades Pittman because some of the best receivers in the league, like Devontae Adams, had struggle weeks against Surtain. So it's one of those situations where Surtain has done so good on coverage. And when you take Michael Pittman out of this Colts offense, already taking out Jonathan Taylor as well, I definitely see Denver winning this game. I would be willing to take Denver minus the 3.5 that it's at right now. Um, I would be willing to take Denver money line. I don't care, but I'm going Denver today. I do expect Denver to win this game. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Denver. I don't know. Russell Wilson he's never been somebody who really entertains me much. Um, so, but yeah, the way I expect this game to go, I think Denver gets up at home, and I think there's a lot of ground and pound. I think Matt Ryan does a ton of short route dump off type of things, trying to move the ball, but struggles to do so. I think it's going to be a tough game for the Colts. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Now, with that game script in mind, now there's plenty of value on this slate, number one. All right, first and foremost, there's plenty of value on this slate. There's plenty of guys who just are a little too cheap for the amount of usage they're getting. So it's one of those situations where whoever you think the top scoring player in general will be should be your captain. Um, as I said already, I could see a way where Melvin Gordon's probably the best captain possible. I could honestly see that. He's 13-2 at captain. Denver should be up, use a lot of the ground game. Melvin Gordon's going to carry the load, at least that's what the offensive coordinator came out and said is like, obviously Melvin Gordon's going to carry the load here. You have Boone coming in for Denver, but he's priced too high for a guy who's probably not going to get much of the work. Now I could see where maybe they split it between the two like they did with Melvin and Javonte, but honestly, in this situation, just feed Melvin. I mean honestly, just feed Melvin. I'm going to go into this as if Melvin is the clear number one, is going to get clear number one targets, get the red zone targets, all that, and Melvin Gordon with this game script really sticks out to me. Now, there is that slight risk that Boone comes in and, they split more than need necessary. For some reason, these teams just don't really love Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's a guy that when he gets his opportunity always seems to smash. Melvin Gordon is a beast. You add in that the game script here is Denver pretty easily, in my opinion. Like Denver by 3.5 seems too low, especially with Pittman struggling with Surtain. Who else they got? Paris Campbell. They're gonna dump off to Nyheim Hines. We're gonna talk about him in a minute. Mo Alley Cox. Like I mean, dude, the options that they have are not very good. Matt Ryan damn sure isn't gonna be able to move anywhere. He's not running nowhere. So he's going to have to throw it to somebody. Will he have some success to the Paris Campbells and those other guys in the sure, he will. Sure, little short routes, sure. But it's going to be tough. I mean, I just at this point of the day, I think it's going to be extremely tough for them to move the ball. One guy I'm really not going to have much of is Matt Ryan because I just don't care to pay 9.6 for a guy who I think is going to really have a tough time today. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and keep Melvin Gordon in here at captain. Now, there's two ways I could end up. I'm probably gonna end up going on this slate. It's gonna be Melvin Gordon at captain, or it's gonna be Russell Wilson. One of those two guys. I'm getting a Denver player because I expect Denver to control this game pretty heavily, and I want one of those two. One of those two will be the highest scoring players on the slate, in my opinion. I honestly expect that. Cortland Sutton will see a lot of Stephon Gilmore. Um, but honestly, you know, Sutton's just so heavily targeted on this Denver offense. But the only problem there as well is game script. The game script does not scream to me pass heavy. It screams to me run heavy, especially on the Denver side, and a lot of Melvin Gordon. So I'm rocking Melvin at captain. On the other end, you want all the pass catches you can possibly get for the Colts. Okay, I'm not gonna have much Matt Ryan. Matter of fact, I have definitely have some interest in Denver D. Denver defense at home against the Colts without Jonathan Taylor, with Michael Pittman being shadowed by one of the best corners in the league. Um, yeah, I'm definitely interested in taking. I think Matt Ryan's going to turn the ball over multiple times. I think it's going to be tough for him to move the ball, like I said, and especially in those situations where they're really trying to air it out to catch up, there's going to be some problems caused. So I really like the Broncos defense today. Really like the Broncos defense today. As I've already mentioned, with Michael Pittman and Matt Ryan, this matchup is so tough on them. I do have some interest because Michael Pittman's going to be shadowed by Surtain. I really have some interest in Nyheim Hines. Let me put my boy Nyheim Hines in here. Now, here's the deal. When it comes to between the tackle runs, we're going to talk about somebody I have interest in that case. But the problem is the game script for the Colts side, they run so much because they have a guy like Jonathan Taylor that maybe possibly they continue that and try to really, they say, you know what? We're not going to really be able to do much here. Let's really try to get the run game going as much as possible, run as much of this clock down as we can, and not give a ton of time for us to get too far behind. And just kind of control the clock, and it just be a slow, methodical, just run type of game. But there is going to be a time where Denver is up, and Colts are going to have to throw the ball. And with that being said, Nyheim Hines is going to be the number one receiver on the Colts tonight. I'm calling it right now. With Michael Pittman Jr. struggling with Surtain, now Pittman's going to get his. He's going to get his targets and all that, but he is going to struggle there. Surtain has been fantastic. Now, if he has a big game, I'm willing to just take my L on that. Oh, you know what I'm saying? If he has an outlier game and ends up just destroying Surtain, or there's a mix-up in the defense and Pittman gets wide open for some long touchdown or something, I'm willing to take my L on that situation because it is what it is. But when you really deep dive, you see that the matchup for Pittman is bad versus Surtain, so that's going to open up other guys. And let's talk about the other guys because it's going to be necessary to get one of these guys or some of these guys. Nyheim Hines is the guy who really sticks out to me. What did I say earlier? Matt Ryan struggles to air the ball out deep. All right, he doesn't have that arm strength he used to have. He is not the Matt Ryan of old, back when we got to the Super Bowl and got punked out by the Patriots. When I was sitting there watching the game and we were up at halftime and I'm super duper happy. I come home to see them win at my home and like be super happy and excited, and just to see that the Patriots damn near beat them. I mean, damn near already had the lead by the time I got home, and I was only 5 minutes up the street. As y'all can see, I'm still aggravated by that. But anyways, that broke my heart. Okay, so I'm glad to see Matt Ryan go because how do you allow that to even happen? You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. Anyways, But anyway, getting back to the topic because I can really go off on that situation. But Nyheim Hines, Pittman struggling versus Surtain, them not having too much of options. Nyheim Hines runs a ton of target and runs a ton of routes for the Colts. That's normal. Now he's not going to get a shit ton of between the tackle runs, but that's not really what we're playing him for, are we? We don't care about the between the tackle runs as much because the game script's not really going to call for a ton of that. Now, plain and simple, Nyheim Hines, like I said, will be the number one receiver in this game for the Colts. And it's possible he out receives anyone. I might be over exaggerating, but I'm not going to lie to you. Nyheim Hines, they're going to find ways to get him the ball. These short routes, these little dump offs are going to be key for Matt Ryan to be able to move the ball against this Denver defense. So Nyheim Hines at 6'8 feels too cheap for being pretty much my main guy for the Colts that I want in this situation. Other guys, not sure why we even have Jonathan Taylor projected here. I had him at 0. I don't know why that adjusted, but you have Alec Pierce, Paris Campbell. Let's talk about Deion Jackson. Deion Jackson's a guy that I have projected pretty damn well, and at the end of the day, he's only 1,600. The game script, like I've talked about, does not call for a ton of between the tackle runs and just grind it out run game. All right, I don't see a ton of that happening, but Deion Jackson is expected to be the between the tackles running back. And so he's going to get those a good amount of carry. He should get a good amount of carries here in this game. And at 1,600, I have him projected as probably the best value on the entire slate. So I'm still fine with Deion Jackson regardless of how this script should go. And if he is low owned by some odd reason and the Colts somehow are up, he's going to absolutely feast. Okay, so but anyways, Deion Jackson's going to get some good run here between the tackles on the first couple downs every drive. And at 1,600, I think he should be able to do fairly well. He could end up getting a red zone carry if they get down there and getting in the end zone somehow. So at 1,600, he's my favorite value that we have here. I'm considering putting him in the core because he's an important piece that he's been in my lineup so far. Broncos really, really love. I talked about these Denver wide receivers. Now, Cortland Sutton's my number one just based off the matchup's not fantastic against Gilmore, but just based off of volume alone, Cortland Sutton is a main guy, okay, that I really, really like. But I've talked about the game script here, okay? Now, that doesn't mean Sutton isn't part of the reason they're up and gets in the end zone. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Sutton, high volume here, solid spot. Jerry Jeudy is almost 2,000 cheaper. I do like Jerry Jeudy a lot. I do like Cortland Sutton. If you have the money, I prefer Sutton, regardless of that matchup. But you can go either way. I think Jeudy ends up having some easier matchups throughout the night, though, and that they can take advantage of, and they might very well do so. But outside of that, you can play kickers. KJ Hamler's some interest. There's somebody I saw that really interested me when I saw it the other day. Um, Let me see if I can find him. Nah, he's not here. There was somebody. Is it Sobert? I think it might be Eric Salbert. Ran a ton of routes last week. I could be wrong. Make sure y'all verify that because I look at so much shit. I'm a little mind boggled at the moment, but I believe Eric Salbert ended up running a ton of routes last week. Now, if he's going to be that route guy for Denver, it's another interesting spot here for Wilson to target him in the red zone. Eric is an interesting spot if, in fact, this is the guy that I noticed earlier ran a ton of routes last week. Go ahead and check that for me, whoever. But yeah, I do like Eric a lot as a value if that is in fact the case. I'm not gonna have a ton of KJ. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and just this last core spot would probably either be Deion Jackson as just the straight value guy in this spot with no Jonathan Taylor getting the between the tackles runs, or Paris Campbell, or yeah, I'm Paris Campbell for value, or Deion Jackson. Mo Alley Cox is, I mean, obviously, as we've seen, Matt Ryan's really loved to target tight ends once they get down in that red zone. Just it's how many times are they going to get down there in that red zone? It's just, man. Anyway, um, let's see. Which way do I want to go? Campbell, Campbell would fit into the game script. And the matchup here in this one with, Nyheim Hines and him and Alec Pierce probably getting a little more better matchups throughout the night and definitely probably getting more of the targets once they realize that Pittman matchup's tough. And I'm sure they're coming into it knowing that Pittman matchup's tough. They're going to try to move Pittman around to try to get him more favorable matchups, but we'll see what happens. But man, I have Campbell as one of the better value options. But Deion Jackson for me just pops so much, just based solely off opportunity, plain and simple, based off opportunity. I'm expecting this guy to get the early down work. And at 1600, that's just too cheap. Okay, so that's like an ideal value that I think you probably need to have in your lineups. Outside of that, like I said, if I have to pick a quarterback, I'm going Russell Wilson. My favorite target of his is going to be Sutton, but I like pretty much all of them. You could make a point for Sutton maybe struggling a little bit against Gilmore, opening up things for Jerry Jeudy. Very interesting to me, but that's about it, man. Melvin Gordon, Nyheim Hines, and Deion Jackson's kind of the core that I want you guys to really focus on. I have Melvin Gordon at captain at this moment. Um, in the course, seeing that I'm expecting that type of game script. If anything comes out that this is more of a split than we originally expect, then that's going to take Melvin down from me. But they need to just go ahead and unleash Melvin Gordon here. This is a unleash Melvin Gordon spot. The offensive coordinator came out and said he's going to carry the load, so I'm going to go in and believe it. So I do like him at captain. I think he is the focal point in this situation, in this game script that you need to have. On the other end, running that back with the game script I'm expecting, Nyheim Hines, I think, is going to be one of the, if not the best receiver option on this entire slate. He gets heavily targeted on the routes he runs. He's going to run more targets he's ran all season. They might even line him up out in the slot at times, stuff like that to get creative. They're going to get Nyheim Hines the ball, and this dude is a beast. He is an absolute beast. He is a talented dude. Then Deion Jackson to open up even more money for you as probably the best value you can ask for on this slate. He's going to get the early down work for the Colts between the tackles. He's more of a between the tackles guy, where Nyheim Hines is more of the receiver. I do prefer Hines, obviously, with this game script, but Deion Jackson should get enough work and enough opportunity at 1600 to pay off that price tag. That's just too cheap for a guy with Jonathan Taylor out who's going to get the early down work. Now, if they come out before the slate and say Nyheim Hines getting the early down work and Deion Jackson's barely seeing the field, then that's another thing. But as of right now, I'm expecting Deion Jackson to get the early work, Nyheim Hines to get the pass game stuff, and, us to, get $1 million. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me as always, man. Good luck tonight, y'all. I hope everybody smashes it. Obviously, I'll be looking at this slate the entire day. I don't have baseball I got to focus on or nothing, so I'm going to be really focusing on this slate, and by time the lock comes, I'll pretty much have perfection. All right. Thank you guys for joining me as always. GreenlightDFS.com. Join the squad. We have the NBA early season deal at Greenlight available now. NBA starts soon, man. It is almost time. Love NBA. One of my favorite DFS sports. Really excited about it. So, yeah. Let's get this money tonight, though, y'all. Peace.